Listen, if you paid $30 solely to watch this pay-per-view, two things. I don't feel bad for you, but also number two, email, call ESPN, do whatever you can to get your money back because you got scammed big time. What's good, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon for future wrestling content. But let's talk about Wrestlepalooza. I have some thoughts on this show that I feel like a lot of people might not like. But if you're new to this channel, there's going to be a lot of stuff that I say that you're not going to like. So, I guess you got to deal with it. This was the first pay-per-view of the ESPN era, and WWE has essentially been hyping this up as one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. And to me, this didn't feel like a big pay-per-view, not even the slightest. To me, this felt like more of a house show, aka a Saturday night main event show. This did not feel anywhere close like a pay-per-view to me, and I feel like considering all the hype this had for your first ESPN show, I would feel like if you want to introduce new fans to the product, you would have pulled off something big, and they didn't do that for me. But you know, we're not going to do much talking. Let's go ahead and get into this. I don't want to make this a super long video. But we kick off the pay-per-view with John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. Remember, WWE has been hyping this matchup like crazy. John Cena, Brock Lesnar for the first time in over a decade facing each other again. They were hyping this up like it was going to be the next big thing. No pun intended. They were hyping this up like it was going to be one of the matches of the night. And boy, oh boy, it did not deliver. Now, personally, I had a feeling that John Cena was going to lose when he came out with the kids. The same thing happened with Austin Theory. He came out with those kids and Austin Theory ended up beating him. But let's get into the match. This was honestly a squash match. Nothing much to it. This man John Cena hit 3 AAs on him, and this man Brock Lesnar got up like it was nothing. Barely got any offense in this match for the most part. Then Brock Lesnar hits not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 F5s on John Cena to get the win in this match. Personally, I'm really not sure what this does for WWE, honestly. What a Brock Lesnar win over John Cena does for him. I mean, with John Cena, he only has a couple of matches left before he ends up retiring, and I don't really know what this does for him as a whole. This man's retiring, he's going to be gone. What does him losing like this does? I mean, is there possibly a rematch? But even then, who wants to see a rematch between these two? Like, what's the point? That's just another waste out of John Cena's retirement tour for the most part. Like, it's insanely mind-boggling how much John Cena's retirement tour by Triple H has been fumbled and messed around with. It's disrespectful in my opinion. It's atrocious. It's an atrocity how much they have fumbled John Cena's retirement tour. Like, this should have been an absolute layup. An easy walk-in touchdown. An easy open 3-point shot, and Triple H has managed to fumble it in more ways than one. And we're going to do a video on that separately. As soon as I'm done with this video, as soon as I upload it, we're going to get straight to that video. I'm going to work on the script, and hopefully we have it out probably by sometime Sunday afternoon, maybe Sunday night after all the NFL games are over, but probably might be out at Monday at latest. I'm honestly glad I didn't get to see this match. At the time this match is going on, you had Kyle Fletcher versus Hangman Page going on, which is an absolutely banger match. I might do an all-out review. I haven't decided yet. Nonetheless, though, this is just once again another halt in Johnson's retirement tour, because if you're going to have this man get squashed like this, you could have had this man face somebody else. Like, what does this do for Brock Lesnar? Nothing. What does it do for John Cena? Nothing. You could have put him up against a guy like a Braun Breaker even, or some rising star, but this does nothing for Brock Lesnar, and it especially does nothing for John Cena in the long run when it comes to the rest of his retirement tour. Like I said, an absolute flop. Like, people was talking about how he was making the kids cry. Like, dog, I'm a grown man and you almost made me cry. Why? Like, why? Triple H, your booking making me cry. Everything you were doing making me cry. But yeah, this was definitely a dud of a match. Not even close. Next, we had the Brawns taking on the Usos. The Usos came out in their old theme song. Down since day one. Down since day one. LA Knight special guest referee, and honestly, I think LA Knight was one of the more entertaining parts of this match in my opinion. I think he made this match a lot more watchable. I said that the match was bad because it definitely was good, but I think LA Knight added another element in this match that made it better. But I thought all parties in this match looked good. I thought the Usos being back together was good, and continuing to look strong, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker for the most part. Now, during this match, Jey Uso did bust himself open. I'm pretty sure he hit himself with a chair, and I think somebody even said he might have a concussion. Now, I hope everything is fine on that end. He didn't suffer anything serious, but from the looks of it and from what I heard, he might have a concussion. There's really not much I have to say about this match. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great either, but it was definitely pretty good. I'll just say it was a solid match. Next, we got Io Sky versus Stephanie Van for the Women's World Champion. This was easily the match of the night, and it wasn't particularly close. I've been telling people for a while now that the women's division has been carrying WWE for the longest. The men, that y'all got to catch up because the women have been soloing y'all over the last year, and this was no exception to this rule. Io Sky, I've been telling people for a while now, she is the best wrestler in WWE. It doesn't matter if it's a male, it doesn't matter if it's a female. Io Sky is the best wrestler in WWE. She didn't win this match, but she continued to prove that this point is definitely true. Stephanie Van on the other hand, her rise over the last couple months has been absolutely insane. She was just NXT Women's Champion a couple months ago. She was also the NXT Women's North American Champion, and now she is the Women's World Champion on the main roster. Absolutely insane rise. Her ability to get over with the crowd and her wrestling ability is on another level right now, in my opinion. Congratulations to her. Congratulations to La Primera. This match was absolutely fantastic. I didn't really care who won this match, in my opinion. Now, I am a bigger Io fan than I am a big Stephanie Van fan, but it was to a point where I really couldn't decide who I wanted to win this match because I felt like every woman in this match had a good chance. I mean, what should I say? A good case for winning. There's not much I really had to complain about here. This is a fantastic match. Simple as that. Easily the best match of the night for me. Next, we got the match that I'm pretty sure most people were watching this event for, and that was Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins versus CM Punk and AJ Lee. For the first time in a decade, AJ Lee is wrestling in a wrestling ring. Becky and Seth had a great entrance. CM Punk and AJ Lee had a pretty good entrance too. Seeing AJ Lee make her entrance in the ring, skipping in her Chuck Taylors, it brought such a strong hit of nostalgia to my head. Like, seeing AJ Lee in a wrestling ring again, it just makes you warm your heart because you never thought you would see this day again. Now, as it pertains to the match itself, I thought this was a really fun match for the most part. I think most people knew coming into this match that AJ Lee, she was going to have some rust, and it was probably going to take some time for her to get back into form. And there were some sloppy moments in this match at times, but I thought overall, AJ Lee looked close to her old self. Like, she really had some good spots in this match. There was a spot where she did an assisted sliced bread. There was a part in this match where Becky Lynch threw her across the announce table into CM Punk. She hit a stomp on Seth Rollins. She hit a Black Widow on Seth Rollins, and then towards the end, she reversed the manhandle slam into the Black Widow to make Becky Lynch tap out. Again, when you consider the fact she hasn't wrestled over 10 years, you got to give her some credit. She didn't look bad, and I have to imagine that she will be next in line for an IC title shot. There's of course going to be those overcritical people saying, yeah, she didn't look good, she didn't look good, this and that. She hasn't wrestled over 10 years. Of course, she's going to be sloppy at times in this match. But overall, she looked pretty good. And when you consider the fact that for somebody who wasn't wrestled over 10 years, you know some rust is going to be there. Everybody in this match is pretty good in my opinion. CM Punk was good. Seth was good. Becky was good. Everybody in this match did a good job making this match fun. Now, my only problems with this match for the most part is that I thought it was a bit too long, and at times it did feel a bit overbooked. That's usually what happens in a lot of fun matches. They're going to be overbooked. They're going to go longer than they should, and that's really no issue with me. I'm eager to see now how she's doing a one-on-one match where she'll have to do a lot more than she has in a tag team match, so that's going to have a lot of intrigue, but I have to imagine she will be next in line for an IC title shot. We have the main event of the show with Drew McIntyre taking on Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Champion. Now, I'm a huge Drew McIntyre fan. I knew he was going to win, but part of me wanted to be delusional and think he was going to win. I knew he wasn't. I knew there was no chance he was going to win. But I kept it in the back of my head that it was possible. I was being delusional. They did a pretty good job right out of the gate making Drew McIntyre look like one angry mother sucker because right out of the start, he starts slapping Cody Rhodes. He then throws him over the announce table, drives him into the steel ring post, hits a reverse Alabama slam into the steel steps. He was going crazy to start. These guys really got a good amount of offense in, but it was towards the end where it started to get a bit fishy and weird. McIntyre in the closing moments of the match rips off the turnbuckle pad. McIntyre tries to push Cody Rhodes into the ref. The referee rolls out of the ring to avoid getting hit. McIntyre rolls, and it seemed like a 10 count. It seemed like Drew McIntyre had this match won, but the referee slides in late and Cody eventually kicks out. Rose then sends Drew McIntyre into the exposed turnbuckle, hits a crossroads on him, McIntyre kicks out, and then McIntyre hits a claymore on him, and then Rose kicks out. Now we then get to the outside, Cody Rhodes is down, and Drew McIntyre is about to hit that claymore on the LED board. However, the referee steps in and tells McIntyre not to do it. This is a legal move. Why is he telling him not to do this? Drew McIntyre goes for it anyway. Rose moves, and Drew McIntyre hurts his leg. McIntyre manages to hit the Glasgow Kiss on Cody Rhodes. However, as he's going for the claymore, his leg gives out, and Cody Rhodes hits a Cody Cutter in a crossroads for the win. Now, as the no copyright symbol shows up, I'm thinking this is not it, right? There's no way it's going to end like this, right? Except it does. No surprises, no The Rock like some people expected, no Randy Orton heel turn. None of this. And as a big fan of Drew McIntyre and also a fan of Cody Rhodes, I was pretty disappointed with this match. It didn't feel like a pay-per-view match. It felt like a Saturday night main event, SmackDown, Monday Night Raw type of main event for the most part. It didn't feel special in any way. And I really thought this could be a possible match of the night outside of Io Sky and Stephanie McMahon. But it didn't feel anywhere close to this. It felt like a normal match to me. And the logic in a lot of these spots didn't really make sense to me. Like, why did the referee stop Drew McIntyre from hitting a legal claymore? Like, what was the point? Again, this match wasn't the worst thing ever. But like I said before, it felt like I was watching Monday Night Raw, SmackDown. This match did not feel special to me, unfortunately. It was just a very meh to okay match. Nothing good at all. Nothing crazy. As a whole with this card, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar, terrible. The Usos versus the Bron, pretty good. Okay match. Stephanie McMahon versus Io Sky, great match. Match of the night, pretty easily. Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins versus CM Punk and AJ Lee, fun match. Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes, another okay match, but not necessarily a match that felt like a main event match, if you're being honest. Really, 2 of these matches, I'd even say 3 of these matches, felt like they could have been on a normal episode of Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, or a Saturday Night main event. It didn't feel like a big pay-per-view match like WWE has been hyping up over the last couple days. Especially Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. They were hyping this match up like crazy, overhyping the hell out of it, just for the end of the squash match. And I really feel like WWE was using that for attention. I really felt like they only had John Cena squash to get some clicks and attention, now that on ESPN, and you have a former UFC fighter squashing one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. That's simply what it was here. Io versus Stephanie, great. Once again, proving that these women are on the top right now. Simple as that. If you disagree with me, you're a misogynist, probably. Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins versus CM Punk and AJ Lee, again, fun match. Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre, this could have easily been on SmackDown. This could have been on a Saturday Night main event. This felt like a house show type of match. And the fact that we didn't get nothing at the end, no Rock, no Randy Orton heel turn, no nothing. That was it. And once again, one of your biggest shows of the year, you just ended off like that. That had to be one of the most boring endings for a WWE show I've seen in a while. Especially for a show you've been hyping up to be your biggest show of the year. Wrestlepalooza? Come on. When it comes to this card, there's only 2 matches that had me interested the whole time. That was Io Sky and Stephanie McMahon, and AJ Lee and CM Punk versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. The other matches either weren't bad, just didn't necessarily pique my interest in any way. Outside of Brock versus John Cena, that was just terrible. It didn't pique my interest at all. I gave this show about a 5.8 out of 10 in my original review, and I think I'm going to keep it at that. I'm just glad I didn't pay $30 for this. I already had Netflix. All I use is a VPN. So when it comes to money, I'm pretty good on that. I didn't have to spend no money on this, and I'm pretty chill with this pay-per-view not being good. I also didn't appreciate the fact that Triple H lied to some of y'all talking about spectacles and surprises. We didn't get none of that. The spectacle was probably Io Sky versus Stephanie. The surprises, we didn't get none of that. The surprises were no surprises, and probably the bunch of ads they had on our screens the entire time. It's true, Undertaker returning is not a surprise. And Stephanie McMahon going to the Hall of Fame, I guess, is a surprise in some type of way, but also not necessarily the surprise we want. What it all comes down to, though, they told you this is going to be a big show, and this felt nothing like a big show. This felt like the biggest house show I've ever seen for the most part. Even Monday Night Raws have been better than this. But as always, you guys feel free to let me know what you thought about this show. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to my channel and tap the bell icon for future wrestling content. Follow my social medias down below in the description. As I said, I'll be putting out a John Cena video on how bad his retirement tour has been. Hopefully by Monday, and I'll hopefully have it out by then. But if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to my channel and tap the bell icon for future wrestling content. Follow my social medias down below in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.